Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and on this episode we're reviewing Extreme Rules 2022. An eventful show, and yes, we're going to talk about it. If you watched it, we'll get there. If you haven't seen any of my shows before, I rate everything on a 1 to 5 scale. 1 is the worst, 5 is the best. We go to the first match of the night, which is booked as a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. We get the Brawling Broods of Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch going up against Gunther, Ludwig Kaiser, and Giovanni Vinci, aka Imperium. This was awesome. I absolutely love this match. This was a great way to start the show. This was definitely my favorite match on the card. I really enjoyed this. I could see these pairings going up against each other a million times. I'm really hoping for at some point they give Sheamus and Gunther a best of 7 series or something to that effect. These dudes are absolutely blowing it out of the park. Sheamus is doing the best work of his career right now, and it's just showing. And everybody involved, Ridge, Butch, Ludwig Kaiser, Giovanni Vinci, they're all holding their own in there as well. This was an absolutely fantastic match. The Brawling Broods team picks up the win on this. I'm giving that one a 5 right off the bat. Very fun match, very cool match to start the show. Next up, being that we're in Philadelphia, we get a little backstage segment with Miz talking about his birthday celebration and wanting to meet up with Triple H. Runs into Gritty, which is awesome. I'm a Philadelphia Flyers fan, and yes, I know they're terrible, but Gritty is awesome. He's amazing. On the back of my SUV that I drive, I have Gritty on the back, just because I drive a Hyundai Santa Fe. It's kind of a common vehicle, so for me to find it easy, I just look for the picture of Gritty when I'm in a parking lot, and that's how I know where my truck is or my SUV is. So I love the interaction between the two, and we'll get more into that as we go along. Next up, we have Liv Morgan defending the SmackDown Women's Championship versus Ronda Rousey in an Extreme Rules match. This was actually better than I thought it was going to be, but still, just something about it still, I don't know. I think it feels like Ronda was more attached in this match than other matches I've seen of hers recently. It seemed that she had checked out of wrestling over the past year or so, and there have been times where it feels like she was going through the motions. She felt more involved in this, and I don't know if it's because she knew what the outcome was going to be. Liv is getting better and better every time I see her. This was a fun match. I think there's another gear that these two could step it up to get in that area where like the first match was, where it would be an outstanding match. Ronda does pick up the win here. Liv doesn't tap out, she passes out while she's smiling, so we're going to see an evolution in Liv Morgan's character. I'm giving this one a 4. I thought it was pretty good. Not quite as good as the first match, but still a pretty good match. Next up, we have a strap match with Drew McIntyre going up against Karrion Kross. I'll say it a million times, how Vince McMahon botched the Karrion Kross call-up from NXT, I don't know. This is exactly what you do with him. You bring him in with Scarlett, you give him the cool entrance. He's that guy. It's a perfect fit for what WWE does. I don't know how Vince McMahon messed that up. Anyway, I digress. Believe it or not, after saying all that good things, this is probably my least favorite match on the show. It felt a little bit forced at times. It felt a little bit contrived. It was, not saying it was a bad match, but it was just kind of, I expected a little bit more. I expected the level of violence to be ramped up a bit. Kross does pick up the win here when, wanted to call her Charlotte, Scarlett gets involved in Mace's Drew McIntyre. I did like the little touch of Karrion Kross selling that there was Mace in his eyes as well, like he got some residuals from pinning him. Overall, a good match. Like I said, probably my least favorite on the card. I'm going to give it a 3. Next up, we get another segment. We see The Miz on the phone. We see Gritty mocking him. Miz kind of walks off again. Again, these interactions are awesome. I love Gritty. It's leading somewhere, so that was really cool. After that, we go into the The ladder match for the Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair defending against Bayley. I was kind of surprised and I couldn't remember, but they were saying this was the first one-on-one women's ladders match in WWE, which I could have swore there was at least one more, maybe in NXT. I might be wrong. I couldn't specifically think of one, but I feel like there was one. Like maybe Sasha and Bayley at some point, or Sasha and Becky at some point, or Charlotte and Becky, or, some of the four horsewomen. I seem to remember that, but I could be getting that confused with a Money in the Bank match. Either way, I digress. This was another fantastic match. As you could guess, Io Sky and Dakota Kai, Damage Control do get involved. Bianca finds a way to ward them off all by herself. Bianca does some amazing stuff in here, doing the KOD to both of them. Yeah, it was a little bit long on the setup. The KOD with the ladder on Bayley was awesome too. A couple of the little feats of strength. Bianca is just evolving so rapidly that she's gone from a really good wrestler to an upper echelon, working into that area where she's becoming one of the all-time greats. Bianca Belair does pick up the win here. This is another match I have to give a 5 to. It was just awesome. I love both of these people as wrestlers. Bayley is one of my absolute favorite wrestlers, whether she be face or heel. She does them both perfectly. Bianca's up there. I think Bianca might be the best athlete in all of pro wrestling, men or women, and that's saying a lot. I think she's just outstanding. Now going from that, we get a I Quit match, Edge versus Finn Balor. This is a good match. I kind of knew what was going to happen. I felt in my head the story I told myself was exactly how it played out. I didn't think Finn could eat a loss here. I thought it was possible this might be the Bray Wyatt or White Rabbit reveal, and that may have caused it to be a no contest, but I didn't think that Finn was going to lose. And if I would have thought about it, I would have did exactly how they did. All of Judgment Day comes down. Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio, which brings out Rey. Dominic attacks his father. Eventually, Beth Phoenix comes into the ring, gets involved, and as soon as she got involved, I knew the finish, which was kind of what I was thinking was going to be anyway. I thought the finish would definitely involve Rhea Ripley. The finish goes, Judgment Day is holding Edge, making him look at Beth while Rhea threatens to do the concerto on her. So Edge quits, hoping that it would save his wife. It does not. Rhea Ripley continues to do the concerto, thus putting an end to Beth Phoenix. Afterwards, we see the people from the back come out selling that she was injured. This is a solid match. Finn did pick up the win, Finn Balor. I'm giving this one a 4. After that, we get the payoff from the Miz and Gritty segments. Miz attacks Gritty, only to stand up and be standing right in front of Dexter Lumis, who then helps Gritty get his payback. Lumis chokes out Miz with that standing choke he does. And while Miz is on the ground, Lumis helps Gritty back up. Love you for that, Dexter. Gritty gives Miz a couple kicks in the chest, and we get our go off with Gritty getting the comeuppance on the heel. Again, I absolutely love Gritty, so I love him being involved on that. And then that leads us into our main event of the evening. In a fight pit match with special guest referee Daniel Cormier, I'm sorry. I don't know why I pronounced it wrong there. We have Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins. This was fun. I think there's a little bit I would have done differently. They should have started on the top level and then brought it down, since the finish was only available in the ring. Why would you climb the cage and go up to that second platform level if you couldn't win the match up there? I know you do it to do damage or whatever they say. And it's the same thing as Mick Foley and The Undertaker climbing to the top of the cage. Why do you go to the top of the cage if you can't win there? Well, they could have. Taker, when he threw Foley off the cage, there was an obvious end. He could have killed him, which actually legitimately could have. So there was some spots. I mean, don't get me wrong. Overall, that didn't take away from the match itself. I just believe they should have started at the second level and worked their way down instead of starting in the ring, going up to the second level, then coming back down. A little minor gripe. Riddle does pick up the win here. I thought it was a fantastic match. Cormier doesn't get involved at all. I'm giving this one a 4. Then as we see Riddle going to the back, we get the little copyright thing, and then it starts. You start hearing the music playing, the lights go out, everybody's holding up their cell phones. You hear Bray singing that it's the whole world. Then you see the different characters, which I believe, I might be wrong. It's probably going to be a faction, but the different characters from the Firefly Funhouse are shown highlighted all through the arena. We see the Fiend mask on the announce table, which looks like it legitimately freaked Michael Cole out. Then we go back to the Firefly Funhouse, which looks like it was abandoned. We click to an old school TV, which plays a little video with Bray Wyatt wearing a new mask, which leads us to the door that's on the middle of the stage with light illuminating. The door busts down. Bray comes out with the new mask on and his lantern, takes off the mask, and we go off the air. It shuts down. We see what looks like an upside down cicada. What an awesome sight. Only WWE can pull this off. No other wrestling company ever. Well, maybe Lucha Underground, but no other than WWE and Lucha Underground would have been able to pull this off without it looking hokey as hell. And this is what they do their best. This is where you blur the lines with WWE and other companies. Stuff like this they could pull off, and they could pull it off extremely well. This was so good, and I know Bray Wyatt had a lot to do with it. He is a very creative guy. This was an absolute amazing reveal. It is the payoff of, I guess, the White Rabbit thing that they've been doing, which is really awesome how they paid it off. I love to see where this is going from here. Is it going to be a faction? Are the different characters from the Firefly Funhouse going to be revealed to be other wrestlers that are now the new Wyatt family, or whatever they're going to call them going forward? Who knows where it's going, but right now I'm super intrigued, and I'm definitely going to tune into Monday Night Raw to see where that goes from here. Overall, I thought the show was really good. The two matches, the 6-man match in the beginning, the women's ladder matches were both awesome. They're my 2 favorites of the night. The lowest point of the card was still a good match, so I can't say it was a bad card. The reveal of Bray Wyatt at the very end, the stuff with Gritty, I'm going to give the whole show a 5. This is another instance where the sum of the parts makes the show better. Like I said, the backstage segments, the Bray Wyatt reveal, the two outstanding matches, I mean, honestly, I would put that 6-man match, if I'm thinking about it, when I think about my best matches of the year, that's probably going to be a consideration for that, just how interesting it was. Like I said, overall I'm going to give the show a 5. With all that being said, smash that like button, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you made it all the way to the end, let me know you made it to the end by telling me something about Bray Wyatt. You can put something like the Wyatt family, the whole world, the Fiend, one of the characters from the Firefly Funhouse. Let's see how creative you could get. Put something creative down in the comments about Bray Wyatt. You could say it's your favorite Bray Wyatt match. Just give me something in the comments about Bray. With all that being said, my name is George Coles, and this has been my review of WWE Extreme Rules 2022.